Hello, hello. Alrighty. Hello, everybody. So wonderful to have you here. Keep piling in. There should be a little chat button below, and I would 100% love you to let me know where in the world you're coming in from. It would be amazing. Thank you. Alrighty. Oh, and I just need to find the lovely Lauren. Hi. Welcome, everyone. Oh, lovely to see some wonderful names in here. Hi, Joe. Hi, Linda. Hi, Mira, Nyenka, Ryan, Stacy, Vicky. I know all these lovely names from some of you from the challenge, which is really cool. Hi, Janet, Erin, Dana, Christine, Catherine, Carla, Brian, Ashley, Antimo. Awesome. We are going to be starting really soon. But first of all, I just wanted to make sure that we know where in the world you are. So let me know in the chat. Hopefully you can see my screen. It should say welcome. So let me know if that is showing up for you as well. We've got the lovely Lauren and Ash here from my team. So Lauren is going to be my right hand amazing lady today, just helping out. She'll be in the chat with you, feeding me in any questions that you have. Ontario, Canada, brr. Fair enough. Hi in the UK. I know it's late, and in Hungary. Thank you so much for turning up even though it's late. Portland, one of my favorite cities. British Columbia, yay, used to live in Vancouver. And driving from Wanganui to New Plymouth. I can't hear the car, Erin, because you're luckily on mute, but that's all good. Quebec, icy and freezing in Richmond, Kentucky. Oh my gosh, there's a whole lot of people tuning in on a really chilly winter's day, whereas here in New Zealand, like Brian, it's pretty lovely. Got London, Honolulu. Are you questioning that you're in Honolulu, Dana? Just curious. Ireland, waiting for the snow. Plymouth, lovely part of the world. Michigan, Mexico, Tokyo. Hi, Tracy. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to let a few more people. Yes, you can totally join this. You're totally good, Pelagia. So if you've come across from the 5-day Launch Your Online Course from Scratch Challenge, you're totally in the right place. This is essentially day 5 in Masterclass. And if you are coming just into the Masterclass, you're also in the perfect place. So we're about to get started. Keep letting me know if you've just arrived, where you are in the world in the chat. That'd be fantastic. We've got about 60 minutes together today. I am going to go through this at pace, but you have your workbook, hopefully, that you got by email. You can ask questions as you go, and Lauren will kindly feed them into me. You've got Ash in there as well for support if I miss anything. And you're going to learn a lot. What are you going to learn? Well, first off, actually, just let me see. There was an intention to try and live put this through to the group, but you know what, I'm just going to run with what we've got. So this is what we're covering today. We are covering the proven VBP method to launch your online course like a boss. I am going to wave at you here, and I'm just going to stop my video so that you can just see the screens fully. Everybody hear me okay? Everybody see the screens all good? Keep letting me know where you are in the chat. Yes, and yes, there will be replays. Oh, a Greek in Belgium. I always love that. What an international audience. How cool is that, huh? So I'm officially recording this. I'm just going to double check that. Yes, always a good thing, right? And we're going to dive in. So this is what I promised to teach you in this masterclass. You're going to learn why now, more than ever, is the best possible time to be launching your online course. And I've got proof for that. So I know for those of you who love statistics and numbers, you're going to love this. I'm also going to tell you about the #1 reason why most first-time launches fail and how you can avoid this from the get-go, because I've been there, done that, and it's not pretty, so I want you to avoid it. And thirdly, I'm going to talk to you about my proven VBP method to launch your online course like a boss. If you're curious about what that is, I'll be telling you exactly what that stands for. So hopefully you're in the right place. You're here because you want to learn about all of these things. Maybe you've been thinking of launching a course for ages. Maybe you're just curious, you want to package your knowledge and expertise into something that you can offer online at scale, make money from, and make a lot of impact. Maybe you're just here because you're just really curious about what the heck all this online learning is, why is it growing so much, how can you be part of it? So I really want to know in the chat, why do you want to launch an online course? Hopefully you're here to do that. Hopefully you're here to learn about that and to do it in the right way, one that's profitable and fun and easeful and graceful. These are all the things that my team and I talk about a lot. How do we have more ease and grace and joy in what we do? So let me know in the chat. I'm really, really curious because it differs for everybody. And I know throughout the 5-day challenge, I've been asking this and it's just been amazing to see. For some people that actually want to start an online business, and having a digital course is one of the best ways to do that. So let me just see. So yeah, Linda wants to help more people scale and have a passive income. Odie wants to package, oh wow, sorry, so many answers. Package and sell your knowledge. Brian wants to support people that are different in different parts of the world. Exactly, they can access it anytime. Stacey wants to have passive income and inspire women and move away a little bit more from the one-on-one and group coaching. Totally understand. Mira is in a lovely position. She has so many people asking for her knowledge. She thought it would be great in the course. It probably is. Linda really wants to have a class available for people who want to get over a crash on a bike, on a skis and horse. Perfect. Jo just wants to share her learning and have passive income. Okay, so lots of you are just really looking to, 1, make an impact in people's lives, 2, be able to teach at scale, and 3, have a really awesome passive, or what I like to call residual income. So, well, there's so many people sharing. Thank you so much. So those are pretty common sort of themes coming through, which is exactly why I wanted to do the same when I launched a course. But here are 7 compelling reasons that you might also enjoy. You might want to be achieving more financial freedom. Courses can be super profitable because, as many of you pointed out with passive income, once you've pre-sold, designed and delivered it, it's actually there for you to just continue selling. Yes, you can market and update it, but ultimately you've now created a product that is sellable at any time, which is pretty awesome. And you can scale that beyond belief. Like, there's people making multiple 6 figures off $99 courses. So anything's possible. It also, I think, gives you the opportunity to dream big. You might start with 1 course, but you'll go on to probably create many more as your customers and clients and community tell you what else they need. And suddenly it opens up this huge kind of opportunity for you to just create and deliver more. It gives you purpose. I find that, yeah, online courses make you money, that's great. But the most rewarding thing about it is the results that my students get and the transformations they have and the feedback that they give me. Like, I would do all of this over and over and over again just to see the results that those people are getting and the ahas that they have. You can't describe it until you experience it, but it's very rewarding. It also gives you the impetus to create what you want to see in the world, right? If you're trying to create a course that maybe isn't out there yet, or there's just not information on it, it means that you're wanting to make a difference and change, and you want to educate people where there's currently not enough information for them to make the right decisions or to make those changes. It gives you confidence to teach what you know. It's so surprising when you start teaching, by the way, how much you realize you didn't know you knew. Does that make sense? It's like, as you teach, you've probably done this before, you're having a conversation with a friend and they might ask you about real estate. Maybe you're a big real estate buff, and suddenly you start spilling all the beans and you're like, wow, I know so much more than I thought. I should probably package this in a course. It gives you the ability to earn an extra income stream, as so many of you have pointed out, and it gives you the potential to actually build a digital course business or an online business. So a lot of what I'm going to teach you today actually applies to just starting and growing your online business. Sound good? Okay, I just want to share, in case you have zero idea in the world who I am and you've just landed here by chance, which is awesome. I want to share what 10 years of launching and delivering online courses has done for me personally. So first up, let me just share. I think for me, as an online business strategist, a coach, an author, a speaker, a podcaster, a teacher, and a student, I think it's just given me so much opportunity to be able to create my online business from scratch, because I started with an online course. I started out actually with a workshop, a social media boot camp in person. And then I delivered that 3 times in a workshop in Vancouver, Canada, and went, hang on a minute, there's all these people around the world who are missing out on this. So how do I turn it into an online course? And I went and did it all the wrong way, by the way. I spent 40 hours of creating all of this and then popping it out, and just, which I'm not going to teach you today the wrong way. I'm going to teach you the right way. But that course, with the 1 sale that I made at $297, has propelled me into a decade of growing my business purely through actually online products and courses. and masterminds and retreats and all these incredible things that you can do as a result of even having a course. I actually designed and created my very first course back in 2010. And since then I've launched well over, I think it's actually well over 30 courses. I've made over $800,000 in sales. Some of those courses were, like $47. So it really adds up. And even better, 80% profit margins, because yes, there's costs in delivering a course, and yes, there's upfront costs in creating and advertising and marketing. But once it's there and once it's created, as I said, there's very, very little running costs after that, which is pretty fantastic. So I think it's one of the few ways that you can build an online business without massive overhead costs. I've done mini launches through to the full shebang. I've done it all the way, and I've learned all the things you really need to rock a launch, as well as some really awesome screw ups and failures. Quite a few of my courses came from my best-selling books. So the Suitcase Entrepreneur helped me build a really awesome course. My Freedom Plan book came from a course. It's pretty crazy. And with my new book, Suck It Up Princess, there will probably be a course in that. So I just love how it can kind of weave its way through whatever else you're doing. And as I'm a big fan of handstands and cartwheels, I guess I've just really learnt so much from the students in my courses and what it really takes for great learning. So that makes me just want to do cartwheels, because when people get it and they take action, it is such a beautiful thing to witness. All right, so as I said, 800 plus students. My very first, I guess, biggish launch, which was a pilot launch in 2014. I was house sitting at the time. I was back in New Zealand after traveling the world, just visiting family. And I made more money in 48 hours than I used to in my salary in a year. So I made actually $48,000 on that launch. You always remember your first big launch. And that was actually more than my salary when I first started out, and more than the policeman who had come to visit that day as a friend, don't worry, hadn't done anything wrong. When he told me what he earned in a year, it was $42,000. And in that weekend after his visit, I made that much in a weekend. I kid you not. So this is just the kind of excitement when you get it right that I want you to all experience. My biggest and most successful course to date is the Freedom Plan Accelerator, which was that pilot. And then the next year I actually did a multiple six-figure launch, which was incredible, welcomed in almost 200 students. And that was a lot of effort, but holy moly, that was an incredible time in my life just to see what was possible. And I'm not saying this to brag, by the way, this has all been layers and years of experience, but super exciting, because even more beyond that, it's allowed me to actually invest tens of thousands of dollars into worthy causes I believe in. And a lot of those support young girls and women to go on to do really well in their communities and in business and in life. And it's also allowed me to actually invest in properties. When I came back to New Zealand in that same 2014, and I had that great little launch of $48,000 US, I was actually able to buy a studio apartment outright that same year, because I had this cash available to me. And then 2 years later, I was able to do the same thing in Portugal, where I bought an investment property, which I sold last year actually for a really great return. So, and I've bought more properties actually, mostly thanks to my online courses. I kid you not, it's amazing. So I hope that inspired you and got you a little bit excited. Let me know in the chat. And maybe just thinking about the possibilities that you have for yourself as well. So I think it's a perfect time to just transition into why now is the best possible time to launch your online course. And actually, for some of you, you might already know why that is. It's probably due to a little bit of a thing that happened last year that caused havoc around the world and changed a lot of people's lives, the pandemic. Because during that time, more people turned to online learning than ever before. So all the statistics that used to be there about the growth of it, I think are probably going to double or triple when they come out this year, because every single person had more discretionary time on their hands. They were online, they were at home, they were stuck in lockdown. People were losing jobs, their businesses were struggling. And so people were turning to online learning and courses to figure out how to survive, to be honest, to learn new skills. And for some people, just for pure pleasure, because they had time on their hands and they couldn't work, or all these things. So it's pretty incredible how I feel like last year was very pivotal for the online learning industry and for you. So here's why I think it's an amazing time to be launching a course. In 2026, they're predicting that the global e-learning industry is going to reach $337 billion. So a huge, huge growth in e-learning. And I think it's a piece of that you actually want to get a hold of with your online courses. I think this is fascinating too. 10 of the largest educational institutions in the world enroll as much as 20% of all online students. Even 5 years ago, that was nowhere near that. So most of the main big universities around the world have realized this is a trend that is not going away and that everything is moving to online learning. Digital learning is the quickest growing market in the education industry. It's had a 900% growth since 2000, 900% growth. Germany's e-learning market is growing about 8 times faster than their entire economy. Isn't that nuts? Like, as a stat, I looked at that, I was like, that is crazy. And so governments are getting into this too. And more than 30% of American students enroll at least one online course in any year. And I know that's going to double or triple. Here's some more fun facts. The global corporate e-learning market, because remember, corporates didn't used to do a lot of this, they used to do a lot of in-house training, is going to be worth $50 billion by 2026. It is growing at a rate of 15%, and they are predicting that it's going to be one of the biggest drivers of the e-learning industry. So if your industry or your focus is corporate and training, you're in the right place as well. Germany has the highest e-learning market share in Europe. The UK has a completion rate for online higher education that's between 70 and 80%, which is better than their in-person training. And this one blew my mind. 60% of kindergartens in Estonia are offering online learning to their little kids. So it's just kind of taking over. I think people have finally realized, even though it's been around for over 20 plus years, that this is the way of the future. 52% of American graduates have considered college level education online to be better than classroom learning. Those of you who went to college or university, you might be nodding your head, like how effective was it to sit in all those lectures and have somebody like talk at you versus being able to learn at your own pace with different resources and different learning styles through online platforms. Asia Pacific is expected to be the fastest growing market for MOOCs. Does anybody know what a MOOC is? I don't want to assume that. It stands for Massive Open Online Courses. So Harvard, Brown's University, a lot of the big universities have actually put a lot of their courses online for free. But Asia Pacific is just whopping growth there. And more than 3 million students are now studying higher education fully online. Like, this is awesome. Okay, final stat, 87% of students use mobile devices to search for new online programs. I wanted to share all this from estudent.org because it excites me no end. Like, I've been in this for 10 years, seeing it slowly happen. And I feel like in the last 4 years, there's definitely been a shift. People have been more comfortable about using their online mobile devices, YouTube, Coursera, Skillshare, all these cool online platforms to do little courses and big courses. You've probably bought more courses in the last few years. In fact, I'd love to know in the chat if you have. But what else is happening is that governments, traditional education institutions, and corporates are finally waking up to the fact that this is the future. And then don't even talk to me about like VR, virtual reality, automated learning, AI. It's just so exciting. Learning is going to get so much more fun. I'm just going to check in on the chat because I want to see if anybody else is geeking out on this or just me. There we go. Jen just finished her bachelor's, decades together, and just finished a mini MBA from your college, and it was all online. Awesome. Joe's bought 4 courses. Oh, Mira's daughter goes to an Estonian online preschool. How cool is that? And yeah, obviously this pandemic has accelerated the growth of online businesses by a decade. That's a really great stat as well. Thank you for sharing. So it's big, right? And yes, there might be more people than ever moving to online learning. So there's more people than ever looking for new courses and new ways of learning. They're also just more profitable, by the way, as I mentioned before. Self-paced learning global sales are seeing a 5% overall growth every single year. They're expected to grow to 325 billion by 2025. That's triple the growth in just 5 years. According to Podia, my favorite online course platform, the actual online course market is worth 50 billion and growing, yet the average cost of content creation and delivery is declining. And part of that is because there's so many more platforms to choose from that are all getting really price competitive with amazing features. I worked for an e-learning, well, actually not an e-learning, well, an e-learning company several years back, and they would charge, like, it blew my mind, $20,000 to $100,000 to build online learning modules for governments and corporate clients. And I was like, I build online courses for sure there's an investment, but a fraction of that. So that's the beauty of this, that I think is just, it's so accessible and it's so much easier to do than it used to be. When I started out, I had plugins, platforms, tools, so many different things to try and just make it work. And now you have something like Podia where it's just plug and play and it does everything for you. So you're coming in at a great time. Even if you hate tech, it's just so much easier. And then the last thing is that people are actually prepared to invest. Some people in the chat already have told me they've already invested in 4 or 5 courses. I don't know how many I've bought over the years, but I've probably invested over 50 to 60K in the last decade in courses, both live, do-it-yourself, self-study, online. And unlike lots of people, I've actually gone through and done those courses, but a lot of people buy them and put them on the shelf. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about today, is how to avoid that, because I think that's one of the things that pains me most, is people who invest and then don't do the learning. And there's ways to design your courses to make them just much more engaging and that people actually see them through to the end and get results. But people are prepared to pay for specific skills in their niche. They want customized courses. They're willing to invest more if there's access to community and coaching or advanced options. So definitely consider that. And some of these people, like myself, they're lifelong learners. We're always going to be wanting to upskill. So we're always going to be buying new courses and wanting to learn. And it just never stops. There's no stopping your learning. There's no limit to it. And finally, they want to learn from real people, not gurus. I think there was a bit of a trend a few years ago where people were moving away from these experts who were like, I know the formula for you to earn millions. And they're like, you know what, I just want to learn from somebody down the road who's a couple of steps ahead of me, which I like to call a leading learner, because you can relate more. They're probably more realistic to where you're at. They're maybe a couple of years ahead of you, or maybe more, but they make it seem real and doable to you versus somebody who's like, 20 or 30 years down the track and it just doesn't seem right. And sometimes the experts and gurus really preach at you and say, follow my formula, and have a one size fits all approach. And I just don't think that's what you need, because you're unique. All right. So I got a quick question. With all this chat about awesome stuff happening online, the massive growth of e-learning, and just how much more people are investing and turning to online courses, do you have an idea for your course? Can you please let me know in the chat? Don't be scared. Nobody's going to steal your course. I just want to know if you have like an idea for the course that you're wanting to create. Let's share away, because I think you'll be surprised at the variety. Yeah, I'm just going to read through these. Ooh, Jen has a suite of 3. I love it. Financial literacy for teenage girls. Awesome. 30 days to build your list and boost your business. Dog training, mindsetting, mapping your vision, guided breathing and meditation. Ooh, a ghost blogging business in a weekend. Ashley, that is nice. Decluttering. Oh yeah, it's a biggie. Sports nutrition for young athletes. Love it. Being location independent with kids. Haha, I used to interview all those people on my podcast. Simplifying your life. It's a biggie. Well-being and conscious living. Guide to branding and monetization for Airbnb. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm loving some of my 5-day challenge people in here, nailing it. The Radiant Heart, 5 spiritual practices for inner serenity, crafting a business around a busy life, profitable copywriting, helping transition to veganism in a kind and supportive way. Look at the variety just there and the people who have kindly shared. I mean, isn't that amazing? So if you're thinking like, why is my course unique? Because you're freaking doing this. This is your experience. Copywriting for migrant women in business. Oh, I like that niche. Philosophical dialogue skills. Oh, so Yeah, I recognize so many names now with these courses. This is great. You've all been taking notice and taking names and kicking ass. This is awesome. Thriving through tough times. That's an important one, Sarah, especially right now. Thank you, everybody. Okay, fantastic. I was amazed. I was getting so many great answers. I'll keep reading through them. So here we go. This is potentially something you've been waiting for, because you've just shared your dreams with me. And now I'm going to tell you the number one reason why that might not work out, but how you can avoid this. Does anybody have an idea why most first-time launches fail? Just out of interest. I might have already spoken to you about it, so you might have a heads up, but just give me some thoughts. I want to make this interactive. Ooh, interesting. Sharing too much content, not knowing your client's needs well enough. No one wants to buy it. Well, that's a fair point, Joe. Failing to plan, not niched enough, lack of promotion, not reaching your ideal client. These are all great answers, actually. Selling what you know they need, but not what they want. Ooh, that's an interesting one. They always say, give them what they want, but teach them what they actually need. That you don't know your audience. Yeah, these are all very on point. However, and technically all of those are right, but first of all, it starts with this. Most of the time, courses that flop are created in an ivory tower. If you don't know what an ivory tower is, think medieval times, queen or king or princess or prince stuck at the top of a big ivory tower, locked away, maybe not, maybe they're up there, completely devoid of reality, looking down onto the masses and the people and going, I know what they want. We're going to give them grain for a full year, without actually validating or asking them what they actually want. So this is the reason I speak to so many people about this, in person, online, and they tell me all their hopes and dreams. Are like, I've got this great idea for a course, and it might actually be a really great idea, but they tell me all the things they're going to include in it, everything that they want to, like templates and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's great. You've kind of designed the curriculum, but have you asked people whether this is something that they're struggling with? Is this actually a real pain point or challenge that this person is having? And who is this for? And often they'll be like, oh, I don't know. I just know that people, they need this. And I'm like, great. Do you hear it out in the streets? Are people telling you about it in conversations over dinner? Are they genuinely moaning and complaining about this? And you've just latched onto this going, wait, I can teach this. This is my skill set. This is my industry. I know this. And probably 9 times out of 10 people are like, no, I just think it's a really good, idea and I want to do it. And I get so excited for them. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I just have a feeling this isn't going to go so well for you, because you haven't even asked. You haven't dug deep enough yet to really, really know. And by the way, I've been in this ivory tower, because people will tell me I'm struggling with this and that. And I'm like, cool, sounds like you are struggling with these things. So I'm going to do this, which is great, but I haven't asked even more follow-up questions, because often if somebody's like, I'm just struggling with, getting out of bed in the morning and feeling motivated, there's a much deeper problem going on there than just that. There's probably a lack of purpose there. There might be a lack of energy in their life through the nutrition they're eating. They might not be enjoying their job or their business. They might have relationship problems that's contributing to that. And without me actually really looking for what's under the surface, I'm never going to be able to know what's really going on. So please don't lock yourself away in an ivory tower. Go out and talk to people and get curious and excited. Those in my 5-day challenge know this, and they know that it works because many of you have already done it and it was insightful. And often they'll validate and confirm what you thought, but they'll also just give you so many more gold nuggets. So that's the number one reason that they're created an ivory tower. And the second bonus reason is that often your course doesn't include enough of you. You are the unique factor in your course. You're the one with the experience, might not be heaps, but you have it. You're the one with the unique personality. You might have a great sense of humor. You might be quirky. You might be very factual. You might be funny. You might be inspiring. Your way of teaching is what's going to draw people in, right? My way of teaching might resonate with you. Somebody else's you might hate, or you might be like, oh, that Natalie, she talks a lot. I love this other person. Great. Whatever it is, you're going to draw people in based on your magnetic personality, even if you don't think it is. Also, your unique experiences that you have had along the way that you're going to apply to this course to give them a frame of lens and reference and examples that are really going to impact them. So a lot of people will kind of do a bit cookie cutter. They'll look at other competitors and they'll try and sort of base it and emulate it off that, rather than really going, okay, this is what they need and these are their problems, and here's my way of coming in and teaching and sharing and helping them with that. So stay unique, stay special, put more of you into your course and into your marketing and into your promotion. Cool. So do you want to avoid a launch flop? Because if you do, then we're going to go into the final sort of a section, which is where I'm going to share my VBP method. So what the heck does the VBP method stand for? I don't think I've actually revealed this yet. I tried to lure you in with like, what's the special thing? Just reading. I love all the medieval theologians and yeah, love it. The peasants are revolting. Love it. Okay, so that was a little side chat. Love what's been going on there. So what is the heck does the VBP method stand for? Let's reveal it, shall we? All right. The first step is V for validate. So just what I was talking about, you need to validate your course idea and your ideal audience. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. First of all, you need to really validate with yourself what it is that you love to do, what you're really good at or great at, what's meaningful or important to you, and what people will pay you for. So this is called your sweet spot. And in the intersection of those four fantastic things is likely the perfect course that you can probably deliver, create, and change people's lives with. And it also needs to take into account your audience's struggles and challenges and what they need help with. So there'll be this beautiful intersection with your skills, experience, and knowledge and their pain points and who you really, really want to help. And you don't want to help everybody, by the way. You want to help a small subset of amazing people that you know you can actually help. Excuse my dogs in the background. You also want to look at what is your profit potential and what are people already buying. And you want to look at what lights you up, because I certainly don't want you to develop something that halfway through it, you're like, you know what, I know this is an important topic, but I actually really don't care for it. Does that make sense? Okay, so that is the first step. That's the validate part. The second step is that once you've got that, and you don't just come up with that overnight, but it's quite exciting to dig into it, become a bit of a detective, you get to build your email list and early buzz. And this is something that so many people miss. So this is the B, building the buzz. A lot of people will come out of the gates, they'll lock themselves away in the ivory tower. They'll do that for months or years even. I don't know how many of you have been sitting on a course idea for years. And then they'll just come out of the tower and announce to the public below, I am releasing a course on X. And people are like, what the heck? Like, you haven't spoken to us for ages, and now you're just shouting this from the rooftop at me. You haven't dropped some hints down in the local village market. I don't know why I'm going on this medieval bent, but let's run with it. You haven't talked to a couple of people who've then told other people, and there's created a bit of excitement. You haven't teased and shared a little bit and given us some, snippets that we want to learn more. You haven't been talking about it. You've just come out with it. And this is something that I see so many people miss. And then they're super disappointed when nothing happens, because people are like, so what? They hear it once, they hear it right before you're launching, and they don't have any time to warm up, to ask more questions, to get excited, to get curious. So this is something that you can start doing right now, even if you haven't designed or, got your course fully sorted. You can start asking the questions to validate, and then start sharing what you're working on, what you're curious about, what you're seeing, why you're tired of seeing people have no energy, why you're wanting people to consider going vegan because it's maybe changed your life and how could it change theirs, why you're curious about why people aren't communicating properly with each other, and how you really, really have started seeing results working with people and helping them overcome that. Maybe you start sharing a bit about some relationship results that you've been getting for clients or friends, and it just starts to build curiosity and buzz, so that by the time you're actually going to launch, you've been talking about it enough, sharing videos, blog posts, emails, friends, conversations at events, that people are like, ah, this is the thing that you've been building up to. How awesome. And then they're far more likely to be engaged and want to buy from you. Is this something that a lot of you can relate to now, that maybe you can see in the past when you've launched anything, not just a course, but any kind of project, or come out with any kind of news, that it's kind of fallen on deaf ears because you've just gone, hey, it's been in your mind for ages, but not out there publicly. Yeah, Catherine's like, so true. Yeah, we get all up in our head. We have all these fantastic ideas. We fail to tell anybody about it. We don't validate, we don't share, we don't build that curiosity. And I don't know if you know this, but it used to be that you had 4 touch points before somebody would actually know, like, and trust you and even buy from you. And now it is supposedly 12 touch points. Do you realize what that means? That means somebody has to see you, your content, some information from you, a video, a post, hear about you about 12 times before they will actually probably go, all right, I'm in. Isn't that crazy? So you have to do a lot more work than you think. So this is always something that you should be doing. If you're passionate about something, if you're good at it, if you're experienced in it, you should be talking about this in a way that excites people, makes them curious, teaches them, shares value well before you're thinking of launching. All right, thank you to those of you admitting that you don't do this enough. And I get it, because it sounds like I'm asking you to talk about yourself all the time, but I'm actually asking you to talk about the solution to the problem that you want to solve, or really to be talking about what's moving you, what's exciting you, what's paining you, and ways in which to help people to overcome that too. Okay, step 3 is something that literally nobody else teaches, I think, apart from me. There's very few people who say, hey, don't go and design an entire curriculum, think about all your lessons, put all these bonuses in, make it all happen, design it, record it, everything. And that's it. They don't ever talk about, hey, why don't you validate, put out an offer, build buzz for it, and get people to actually pay you in advance before you've even created your course. Mainly because most people freak out about this. Some of you might be doing that right now. Like, nah, how on earth could I possibly do this? Well, be like this rocket and just make it happen. It is so smart. It is one of the smartest things that I've ever done in my business, because the very first time I launched, remember I told you I locked myself away? I had run it as a workshop, so I knew it was great content, but I hadn't marketed it online. I instead took myself off to a friend's house in Vegas, of all places, in the desert, locked myself away in a bedroom for 40 hours over 3 weeks, consumed myself with turning every single workshop slide of a 2-day full day course into slides and presentations, recording every single video and audio, pulling it all together, popping it all onto my own course site in WordPress, trying to figure out all the tech. And then I launched it and I made 1 sale. I mean, granted, I was super excited somebody was prepared to pay for this online course, and I went on to make more, but 1 sale was at $300 was not worth the 40 plus hours of stress and time that I put in. And if I had instead created the offer and said, here's what I am developing and going to deliver to you, here's what it's worth, here's what you're going to get as a result, here's when it starts, give yourself a little bit of buffer time. People don't need to jump into a course straight away. Sometimes a little bit of wait is great. It gives them time to prep, book in their calendar, book out time, get prepared. That would have been so much less painful, so much less painful, so much less expensive had I done that and actually validated that at least, probably back then, 5 or 6 people were actually going to buy it, because that would have given me 1, the desire to now go ahead and do it, 2, the funds to be able to make it even better, and 3, the confidence that people actually want this and they've already paid for it. It's a bit mind-blowing, isn't it? Does this scare people still, or does it actually make sense when I talk about it like that? Christine asked one of the questions that I think I get so much. If you design, sell and pre-sell it, but you only get a few people, should you do it anyway? Great question. That actually all comes down to how much your time is worth and whether you think it's worth going ahead with. And there's 2 ways to get around this. Yes, you either go ahead and you deliver the best possible course you've ever done and you wow those couple of people like crazy, you get lovely testimonials, and then you do it again but better and learn the lessons. Or you turn around and say, hey, I'm not actually going to run this course right now. Instead, I'm going to offer you a one-to-one session and something else that makes it just as valuable to them. Most people are super happy with that, so long as they're still getting the result that you've promised or that you've intended. So it's really up to you. And I've seen several people do that. And the beauty is, if that is the case and it's not viable enough for you to go ahead and do it, you haven't wasted precious time and money and energy, but you've still got those two people who are prepared to pay. And you can either, as you said, delay, or you can deliver something awesome to them and still make them super happy. And it is scary, Pelagia. It is scary, but it's so much less scary than spending loads of money on, because people do end up spending more than they sometimes think, all that time wishing and hoping that this is going to be a success, 2 or 3 months down the track going, oh my God, crap, that just didn't work out. That is way more scary to me. That's 2 to 3 months of your life that you can't get back, and massive disappointment. Been there, done that. Okay. And the fourth step, which isn't in the acronym, but this is just obvious, is that you create and deliver your course live. So if you've done the first 3 steps, right, you've validated your ideal customer and you've solved the problems, like you really deeply know what they need and want. And then you've built buzz over 2, 3, 4 weeks in the lead up to your course. And then you've pre-sold it and you're confident and there's enough people that love what you do, that you're going to do it. Then you get to create and deliver your course live. And I don't mean you have to be live like this awesome singer on stage. You can pre-record videos and drip it out each week. I've created so many courses by doing it live. So the first lesson is there when people start, and then I actually create on the go during the 4, 8, or 12 weeks that we're together. And why that actually is really awesome to do, and again, it might strike you as a bold thing, is that once you have students in your course, you get to know what they're resonating with, the pace at which they're learning, the questions that they have. So you can actually design and tweak things as you go so that it's hyper relevant to them and they get more out of it. There've been a few times where I had all these ideas for exactly what I was going to deliver, and then the overwhelming feedback I got from students is that they wanted something more basic and more paced out. And so I actually stopped what I was doing and took it back to the basics and dripped it out more slowly, and they got a much better learning experience as a result of that. And had I created it all in advance, it wouldn't have been as effective for them. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. And yes, you should 100% know, let people know, that you're doing something live. So if you're pre-selling, you can say this is starting in 1 week or 2 weeks or next month. People are really good about it. They just want to know that once they've bought something, it's going to be delivered. And then you get to build up that excitement for what's coming, as I said, and they can prepare for it and get excited and do some prep work. So those are the 4 steps that I teach in my Launch Your Damn Course Accelerator, and they really work, and they've saved people so much pain and heartache. And yeah, they're scary and they require you to get out of your comfort zone and do brave, new, bold things. But if you've been sitting on a course idea for a couple of years, guess what? You're going to finally actually make it happen. So that's the result that I wanted to deliver to you, right? No more dusting it off in the corner, no more, oh, I'll do it next time. Like, this is something that you can do. And the beauty is, once you've pre-sold it, you have all the impetus and ass kicking that you could ever need to make this happen. You don't get to hide anymore. You've set a date, you've announced it publicly, people have paid you up front, and it's the best motivator in the world for those of you who might not be motivated. It lights a fire under your butt like you wouldn't believe. It's so good. Okay, so question for you, why haven't you launched your course yet? Given all that I've just shared with you, I'd really like to know what has stopped you up until now. Let me know in the chat. Oh, there's so many good questions in here. We're going to come to this in the Q&A time if I can. So Lauren and Ash, if you can keep an eye on some of those, because there's some great ones about what questions to ask to keep people engaged, length of courses. All right, so people are saying actually just orchestrating the nuts and bolts. Tech is a challenge. Yeah, totally understand it, Joan. Confidence with your online presence, not the best with technology. Never really thought about it before, actually. Christine said the 5-day course is open to horizons. That's awesome. Lack of commitment, chicken shit. Thank you for your honesty. Afraid no one will buy. time, money, clarity, being able to focus. Too shy to go live. Oh, I totally get it. Nervousness on what to include and build. Not sure how big it should be. Distractions. Yeah, right? Life gets in the way. Get stuck in the research phase, drown in your ideas. Oh, I love your honesty here, people. Thank you so much. And a pile of good excuses. That's probably my favorite. You know, I just want to speak to somebody who popped in there that you've launched once before and it didn't work. I just, you know, this is what I love about failure, because it's not a failure if you learn a lesson from that and do it again, but better. So let me share a little story about a couple of years ago when I took my most famous and legendary Freedom Plan course, and I decided to revamp the entire thing, make it more advanced and relaunch it. But by the time I got to that point, my book had come out. I was pretty tired, actually. Launching a book is full on. And then I was like, oh, I said that I would launch this course with it, and I keep my commitment, so I will. And my heart wasn't behind it. I didn't have much energy for it. I spent all this money on professional videos and doing it all, and it just didn't feel like me. I had all this makeup on, super fancy video recordings, great info, taught really well, but I just didn't even back my own course. Doesn't that sound funny? It's like I put all this effort in, and then I was like, yeah, but if I'd just done it my own way and just sat in front of a camera, you and me having a conversation, taught from the heart, I would have been 100% behind it. And as a result, it was a really costly mistake and a really costly launch. I made sales, I got people on, but it was about 1/8 of what I was expecting and hoping. And it hurt. Like, I think I stayed in the hurt locker for 3 months, just analyzing what went wrong, why it was a flop after all my successful launches. What did I do? How did I make this mistake 7 or 8 years on? So I just want to say to that person that, like, get up from that, because I then went on the next year, probably 6 months later, to deliver the most minimum viable, easy, fun course about online courses ever. And it was a rip-roaring success. It was the most fun thing to do ever. It was profitable from the get-go. It was easy. It was light. And I was like, this is how launches should feel when you get it right, when you're actually onto something and helping people solve a problem that they have. So failures are never failures, only if you don't learn the lesson in them. And I love getting knocked back, because it means, cool, what can I try differently next time and really get it right? Yeah, so as Ashley said, should I just suck it up, princess? Yeah. The name of my new book. Exactly. And get that self-belief back in yourself and try again. I mean, look at Einstein. Was it 1,000 failures on trying to figure out how to make the light bulb work? Who wouldn't? I would have given up at 10, not 1,000. It's just crazy. And exactly, Candy said, fun, easy, and light creates great energy. And that's exactly what I had, compared to the heavy, dull expensiveness of the other launch. So I just wanted to share that story so you can, you know, not do what I did and just keep making it happen. Good things take time. Okay, so here's the reality as to why you may not have, in addition to what you've shared. You're telling yourself stories that just don't serve you, right? A lot of you have just said right then, I'm not confident at this, I can't do that, I get nervous at this. So let me just tell you about a couple of my students who thought the same. Robin Finney, delightful, amazing lady. She had been wanting to launch a course for ages, but didn't have this idea. She'd also been a lover of oracle cards, actually, for years, and she'd been using them for herself. She had great intuition, but she'd never actually thought that her love for helping people see deeper into themselves and the knowledge she'd built up around the power of oracle cards was actually something she could monetize. She was also hiding quite a bit. She thought that if she came out and started talking about this, in addition to the work she was already doing, people might think she was a bit crazy, a bit woo-woo, a bit weird. And so she hadn't really fully embraced it. And during my 60-day accelerator, she realized she'd been holding back on herself, and she just decided to fully embrace it, called herself an intuitive and authenticity guide, got started on going live weekly on Facebook, drawing an oracle card, reading it out. This led to a really awesome gathering. People would turn up live every week. They were really engaged. And then it gave her the idea for her course, which was a live paid girls' night in oracle party. So remember, you know, you sometimes have those Tupperware parties or whatever, but she instead held an oracle party where you could get your girlfriends together and she would do it live on Zoom and do oracle readings, and people paid for this. And now she's off and running. She's got a course on this. She's just released her second round of it. It was so much easier. She got even more people, made even more sales, and she's just loving it. Like, she's fully embraced it. So that's one example, which I just love sharing. The other reality is people go, I don't know enough about anything in particular to even create a course. Put your hand up if that's you. You think you're not expert enough, you don't have enough knowledge. And what I love is that people can teach the most simple thing, but it's the way in which you teach it. So I know people who make spreadsheets really easy, yet it's like, something you could probably find a ton of free content online about, but they've created a mini course in how to work Excel spreadsheets that lights people up who have always struggled with that. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be the person who created Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. You just have to be somebody who can teach it in a way that other people understand, right? And as I mentioned right at the beginning of this masterclasses, I don't think people really love learning from gurus anymore. Personally, I don't think people should call themselves gurus, but even experts, you can get so up in your head with all the knowledge that you forget how to teach the basics that got you to where you are now. I've absolutely been guilty of that when I have so much knowledge in an area and I've gone to teach it and I overcomplicate it for people. So one of my superpowers now that I've really worked on is making things super simple and just breaking stuff down so it's so easy to understand. And that's what people value, not 20 years of expert depth and understanding. Sure, you need to know your stuff, but you do not need to be the expert in the matter. Another reality is people go, why would someone pay me to teach them what I know? Because I'm not an expert. I hope I just spoke to that. But again, it's just, you just need to be a leading learner. People have heard me talk about this a lot. You're somebody who's a couple of steps ahead of the person who's behind, and you can bring them up to speed, bring them to where you are. So you resonate with them, they can see the journey you've been on and they can see the progress and they want what you're having, and you can teach them how to get there. Here's another one that I hear. My experience isn't unique, and besides, there are heaps of others doing this. I get this all the time. Hint, there are heaps of other people teaching how to create online courses. Note that they're teaching how to create online courses, not pre-sell them and do all the stuff. But it's a really hot market. There is a lot of competition out there, and yet there is room for everybody because everybody teaches differently. Everybody has a different style. Everybody has different methods. And it's just incredible. There's room for everybody. It's very rare that a market is so saturated. Think about all the diet courses out there. Think about all the online exercise classes that are out there. Think about all the yoga teachers who during the pandemic had to shift online. Every single one of those yoga teachers, some will be doing better than others, but had to pivot and think about how they could deliver. There are probably millions of online courses out there about yoga, and yet you'll find the one that's right for you. You'll find that person and you'll buy from them because you love them, right? And here's an example, Kate Nankable. She's a LinkedIn and business development specialist, and she helps individuals and teams and organizations basically leverage the power of LinkedIn. There's 700 million users on LinkedIn, right? And what she found is that she started getting the same questions over and over again with her consulting and her events that she was running, which was, how do you attract your ideal clients with your LinkedIn profile? Really specific problem that people were having. My profile, how the heck do I optimize it? So she's like, I get this question all the time and I keep repeating myself, why don't I create a mini course about how to optimize your LinkedIn profile to attract your ideal customers? And boom, she did, even though, there's a ton of other people on LinkedIn who would consider themselves experts. And she made all these sales. I think she ran about 10 sales of her course, which was priced at around $300, boom, just like that. A couple of thousands of dollars made for something that she was teaching over and over and over again. And now she has a course in amongst her portfolio of other offerings that people can buy immediately without needing to book in with her and get a ton of value out of. So don't underestimate what the power of just taking your knowledge and packaging it into something that is answering some of the biggest questions you get can do for you and your business. Here's another reality. How could I market an online course when I don't even have a big email list or audience? I know people who had 100 people or less on their email list or actually no list who made sales on their courses from day one. Part of that is because of the building buzz, that they used online platforms, social events, other people's audiences. And by the time they got to launching, they had enough reach and engagement and goodwill that people were just willing to sign up and buy from them. So don't let this one ever stop you. It's just so not true. And here's a great example. Siobhan Danaher had been online as a lean practitioner and travel photographer. She had been blogging since 2012, and she had never really built an email list, and she never had anything for sale. And when she came through my Launch Your Damn Course Accelerator last year, she took it twice, by the way, and she's launched twice. It's been amazing. She was like, enough, it's time to start making money from all her writing. She had put out hundreds of blog posts, tons of content, and never ever monetized it. So she created a paid 90-minute masterclass called Create Your Personal Vision. And she made 10 sales of it. It was around 29 euros. She made 10 sales of it. And just in this very moment when I am doing this live, she has launched her 6-week course, which is 10 times the price of that. And she already made sales the minute she finished her webinar. So this is Siobhan, who had a list of literally nobody and grew it to 150, made sales off that before it was even that big, was petrified of going online, and decided to do a live video every week for like 8 weeks. So for those of you who are petrified, listen to the podcast I did with Siobhan. We can drop it in the chat, but she's an example of somebody who was like, that's it. I'm so sick of waiting and stopping myself. And she is now on, the confidence that she has grown in her mindset is amazing. She's a different person from the Siobhan that I met 6 months ago. You'll fall in love with her. She's Irish and she's got all this amazing energy, but she has literally now made hundreds and thousands of dollars because she finally took action with a tiny, tiny list and being petrified of going live. She just decided to show up. And guess what? People love her. They just hadn't seen her before. They hadn't heard from her before. It's amazing. So yeah, it's absolutely incredible, actually. And she also, with her blogs that she'd been writing for all these years, they were higher in 2020 than they had been in the previous 3 years because she was putting herself out there more. Isn't that inspiring? I don't know about you, but as a blogger, for me, that was incredible. And the final one that I'll share is I have no idea on what to charge. How do I put a value on this? In my 5-day challenge, I just covered that in a live yesterday. Hopefully it was valuable for people, but let me just recap on it. This is important. It's partly what it's worth to other people, but it's also what you are worth to them. All the value that you've invested in yourself over the years to acquire these skills, this knowledge, this life experience. You can't discount that, and you can't discount the value of the result or transformation your course is going to give people. So first off, don't give stuff away for free. Second, have an understanding of what you want to charge to be profitable, but also give amazing value to your students and customers. And if you haven't come across the challenge, I've got a whole video on it. I can share it with you because I went in on this deep. But the thing that I see too often is people undercharging or pricing it and not even considering how long it's going to take them to deliver any investment they might need to make in marketing or ads or copywriting or design, and their own time. And also not thinking about how much that might be worth to somebody. If you're going to change somebody's communication so that they can have a healthy and loving relationship, that is priceless to them. You can count on it. If you're going to change their diet and give them 50% more energy than they've ever had in their life, and they lose weight and they feel amazing, again, I feel like that's priceless. So it's not just how much is the course worth, it's how much is the transformation worth. And there's a bit of an art to that. But here's Emma, who I really want to tell you about, because she's actually a singer-songwriter and she teaches violin students one-to-one. And it has been just killing her, if she's really honest about it. And she really wanted to move away from that. So last year she took my Accelerator and she launched her singer to songwriter performing course. And she was selling it at $300 and she got 6 people who signed up for it. So she more than doubled the investment in the Accelerator. And then she went on to launch it again after 4 months, right? Same course, improved everything because she'd learned so much more. She put it at a $500 price point. She sold it out again and she got people on the wait list. And then She did it again after 4 months. She's been a busy lady because she's been so focused on moving away from one-on-one. And she raised the price to 1,000 and she nearly sold it out again. I can't even begin to tell you the leaps that Emma has made in the last 8 to 12 months. It has been incredible to watch, and she is pretty much about to close up her one-to-one teaching and go fully into delivering online courses and retreats. It's amazing. So, you know, from teaching and a really full roster and an exhausting roster, even though she loves it, to being able to really allow women to find their voice and step into their power and their strength and become singers and songwriters. Incredible, right? Just an incredible transformation for Emma. So the truth is, launching your online course is the most rewarding thing I think you'll ever do, short of writing a book and maybe having a family, who knows? But for me, this has been the most rewarding thing I've done in my business. And you can do this and succeed when you have these factors. Constraints on your time and deadlines. Because for those of you who are in here who've said to me, like Emma had been sitting on a course idea for 6 years. 6 years. So she needed the constraints of 60 days together to get this done. You need commitment. You need to block out your calendar and do the work. And you need somebody or some people checking in on you and holding you to your word and holding you accountable. Most people are not motivated enough or have the right habits in their day to be able to actually do the work and get this done. It's why I always crowdfund my books, because then I say to people, you will get this in 3 months, and I give myself a massively tight deadline to move mountains, and it works. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have written 3 books. You also need like-minded people who are on the journey with you to show you that you are sane, that you are having the same fears and hopes and dreams and problems and challenges, and that you're not alone. It's really important. And you need strategic and personalized guidance from a leading learner or an expert who's going to show you exactly what you need to be doing it in a loving, ass-kicking and cheerleading way. That's me. And you need a learning environment that encourages curiosity and a safe space to ask your questions. And, you know, some courses don't provide that. So let me introduce you, my friends, to the Launch Your Damn Course 60-Day Accelerator, which is one of my most proud achievements to date, mainly because it has gotten some of these results that I've been talking to you about and more, which has blown my mind. And what is it exactly? It is a live 60-day accelerator starting on March 1st. By the way, it exists. I'm not launching it live, but it exists, and I know, and it's proven. I've done this 7 cohorts before this one. This is the only live one I'm running this year, and it's designed to get you to take massive action so that you will already have pre-sold at least one spot on your course before you've even created it. So imagine in 60 days time, having actually pre-sold and now delivering live your course. I think Lauren would have hopefully popped that URL in the chat. You can go across and read all the details. But I just want to sort of share some of the reactions that people have got through this, like Catherine, who was basically doing a dance with her first sale. The first sale, by the way, is super, I still remember mine, and I think I danced and screamed, and just, it's such a good feeling. When you experience it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Or like Dave, who, a guitar teacher, who was literally like, this isn't going to work, put out his course, got 2 sign up straight away, and went on to do really well, like whoop. Robin, who we were discussing before, she got 5 incredible women on her journey, and she was just like, wow. And look at that, she felt grounded and excited the whole time. Well, Verena, who kind of absolutely blew my mind when she released this just in January, she helps people understand how to build earth homes, so homes made of earth and natural homes. She had a $12,000 launch. She was blown away. I followed up with an email to her, and she's like, yeah, I was just amazed, because she had tried to do this about 3 months before and just didn't have all the things, wasn't in the right place, wasn't in the right headspace. And this time she was like, wow. So she hasn't even created, she's just done her first recording. Isn't that amazing? $12,000. And you would think that if you're teaching people how to build a natural earth home, you'd need to be there in person showing them, which is how she used to do it. She's doing it all online. So don't you tell me that things like this can't be done online. So why is my accelerator different and virtually guaranteed to get you results? I will never say that your results are going to be the same as these people's, but I can pretty much ensure you that this is one course you will pay for and make your money back on. because in 60 days, you will, in the first 2 weeks, understand how to fully validate your course idea and ideal audience. And this is the step that so many people skip, and we will do it in depth, and you will have so much more clarity and confidence. And then step 2, we're actually going to help you build your email list and early buzz. I have over 7 steps for you to be able to do that, and you actually do it together, and it's exciting. And we have templates and swipe copy to help you, which somebody put in the chat before, actually put out posts. So you can just swipe those, copy and paste, tweak a bit. So we're actually helping you to do this, so you don't sit there going, how do I ask these questions? And then we move into launching, marketing, and pre-selling your course, my favorite part, the part that makes people nervous and excited and all at once. And then finally, actually creating and delivering your course live. So by the end of that 60 days, most people are at that point where they are already paid and starting to deliver, or right on the cusp, which 60 days flies by the way. So it's a big ask, but it is super excited. And the best part is that you're doing it with other people who are also often launching from scratch, or maybe from past experiences that weren't so good, and they're really committed and cheering you on. I think that's pretty special. So here's an example. Jenny had been wanting to launch for 2.5 years. She made 7 sales in a week and $1,500 in revenue. She was blown away. She had been building a really large free digital nomad community for years, and she had never ever had a course. She had a membership, but she was undercharging, and this just blew her mind. And she's like, why didn't I do this 2.5 years ago? And she's gone on to sell more of that. I think she's actually launching right now again. And that's the beauty of this. People continue to launch and continue to get better. So the first time through the accelerator, they'll get results that really blow their mind, and then they'll carry on and get better and better. Like Roxanne had a tiny list. She's a real estate project manager, and she helps them with their marketing, and she did 4,500 in course sales with a tiny list. That blew her mind. As I said, Emma made a 10x on her investment, and she's made even more than this now. As I said, she raised her price from 300 to 1,000 and sold out 3 times in a row, and it's changed her life. So in short, with this, you get that online micro learning. And by that, I mean you get short bite-sized modules and lessons, because I don't want to overwhelm you. A bit like teaching, it's really succinct, it's really on point. And with that, you also get a workbook to work through. So you're doing the work as you go. You get online group coaching. There are actually 4 sessions in total. I'll come to that, but I wanted to share what Katie said about this, because probably the support from the group and from my coaching, and just, as she said here, your voice telling me to pre-sell before you build has just made the world of difference to people and the results that they've gotten. So having that live support as you're going through this, access to my brain, access to their cheerleading and support and advice is just, it's gold. Katie's actually on to her second launch. She's doing incredible. She was aiming for, she like tripled her price, put out a bigger course. She was aiming for 15. She had 5 in her first week, and she was panicking and stressing. And I said, but you've still got 2 more weeks to launch. And then she hit 15 really quick. And now I think she's on to her stretch goal of like 25. So she's blown away, but she was having those jitters like, this isn't going to work. And I was like, just stay true to the course that you've done. It's going to be amazing. And it has been. So the coaching and hot seats are every 2 weeks. The first one starts on March the 3rd. So basically you get access on the 1st of March, and then we roll straight into a coaching call. They're 60 minutes. They're at 8 p.m. GMT time. They're always recorded. And basically you actually jump on and you get to ask me any question as to where you're at, and I will laser coach people individually on that call. So it's a bit like one-to-one coaching with me, but you also learn from everybody else. So these are gold. And as Siobhan said, like the wonderful, kind, and supportive ass kicking from me, but also everybody else who helped her, is pretty much what got her over the line. So remember, Siobhan's been through this twice. She was going to pull out. She was then going to offer it free. She was then not going to do it live. All these things that I just got her to stay true to her original path, and it's paid off in dividends. So we celebrate people. We have this cool course community and accountability and support. So you get a weekly email from me asking you 3 really important questions to keep you on track. And if you actually reply with your answers and bullet points, I will personally respond to you. And I feel like that's something that Lauren picked up when she joined my team. She's like, nobody else does that in courses. I've been in courses with design for like designers, and I think Lauren can probably say it in her own words. She's like, but there were 400 people in the course and I didn't get any one-on-one, I didn't get any support. And it would have been so helpful. And then so many people in my accelerator are like, this blew me away, how much access to you I get and to your team. And Kate just kind of reiterated that there. She was like partway through, she's like, this is amazing. And we're all stretching ourselves and we're all acknowledging and inspiring each other. It's just pretty beautiful. I get posts like this a lot where people are like, this is the bomb. So imagine just 60 days from now, finally having pre-sold and launched your course. How good would you feel? Can I just actually see in the chat how good people are going to feel? Can people just shut your eyes for a minute and visualize what that would feel like? So what are we looking at? We're looking at basically by the 1st of May, you finally have this course out there pre-sold and you're delivering it. Pretty epic. Just, sipping on pina coladas, your phone dinging with sales. I kid you not. So you get $3,530 worth of value, and you can see exactly how that's made up, by the way, for just $997 US, or 3 monthly payments of $397, which most of the people who've been through this now has told me is still underpriced. And I have raised my prices on this course because it is live and there is so much one-to-one and personal interaction and guidance. It's a bit ridiculous, really. So if you head to nataliesisson.com/accelerator, you can see it all there. By the way, this special price of $300 savings is just available for people on this masterclass and for the next 72 hours. So nobody else is going to see that. You're the only people who are seeing this right now. So it's a $300 saving on top of everything else. But I feel like that Ginzu knives ad when he's like, but wait, there's more. You'll also get a free set of Ginzu knives. I'm not going to send you Ginzu knives. They're not helpful at all to your learning, but I'll tell you what you are going to get. The first 3 people to join me in this accelerator are going to get a 30-minute one-to-one coaching session with me, valued at $250. We will do that in the next 2 weeks before we start. So you will hit the ground running in a really, really great way, and you'll have much more clarity about what you want to do. I don't do one-to-one coaching anymore, so this is pretty special. That's just for the first 3 people, and I might even bring Angel, who's in that photo, along with me if you want cuteness overload. She's one of my white German shepherds. So this is pretty exciting. I can pack a lot into 30 minutes, as you probably imagine. And what's even cooler is my incredible copywriter, Ash, who's on this call, has offered kindly to also do, to the first 3 people to join, a 30-minute sales copy feedback. So she's incredible at this. She writes a lot of my copy. She has helped me massively, my sales pages. And I said, wouldn't it be amazing if other people could get access to your genius? She's been in this business for over 10 years. She's a wordsmith. She's a magician. And she will transform the copy that's in your head into something that you actually genuinely wanted to see out there, copy that converts. So again, the first 3 people are going to get Ash and myself, which is pretty special. But if you missed that, if you haven't signed up already, you're still going to get these awesome bonuses. By the way, there's quite a lot, so let me just fire through them. The weekly accountability email, as I said, I will literally reply to you. Sometimes I'll shoot a short loom. Sometimes I'll just reply with coaching advice. I just don't know any other courses that do this in such a way that is so much access and hand-holding and care and support. You get this amazing 12-step sales page template. It is incredible. It is literally, as Catherine Leamy said, one of my students, literally like a swipe copy, just copy and paste the entire sales page format. And there's a certain psychology behind how you do this by sharing the problem and the solution, all these things. You literally get the template so you can just put in your own words, maybe if you're lucky enough with Ash's help. So this is gold. This is worth a lot. We also have an email promotion template because so many people that I talk to are like, what the heck do I talk about in my emails in the lead up to my launch? So that's what you get. I have literally written out emails for you that you can use and change out to your heart's desire so that you don't have to try and think about all this. You just pop in what your course is and what your pain points and problems are, and you're off and running. So this is gold because it can take hours or days to write emails like this. You also get my ideal avatar interview template. So when you're going to do all this research in module 1, there's an awesome template and questionnaire that you can literally just steal from me and ask these exact questions, record your conversations, do whatever you need. I really, really wish I'd had this when I started. So I've actually put it all together for you. And the first 20 people to come into the accelerator, this won't be a big accelerator, by the way. I love keeping these intimate. You're going to get a 1-hour Practice Your Brave masterclass with myself and Ash, because Ash is not only a talented copywriter, she is also a trained performer in theatre and voice and all these incredible things. And I said to her, one of the biggest problems that I see is people are scared about going live. They're scared about going on video. They don't like the sound of their voice. They don't know what to talk about. They don't know how to breathe. They get nervous. And she said, well, let's get them to up their brave and show them all the tricks of the trade of how actors and theatre performers do this like pros, so that they will just smash their nerves and be awesome. And this is going to take place, actually, Ash, you might want to just correct me, I believe on the 24th of February. So before we've even started the accelerator, you're going to get this as a live call, just 20 people and me and Ash, which is pretty intimate and awesome. And the first 20 people to join are going to join myself and my dear friend and high performance coach, Osman Sharif, who is incredible. He's a mindset coach. We have worked together for 5 years. He has been my co-host at 4 of my retreats. People love him. He's from Scotland. He has an awesome accent. And he and I are going to show you how to get past your imposter syndrome, your inner critic, and basically work on what the difference is between a launch and a really successful launch, because it's all in your mind. And that is happening on the 17th of Feb. You're actually going to get that as a mini course released to you in advance, because I think this is probably the most important thing that you need before you even start. So you will get access to that next week, and then access to Ash and I's call, a live call the week after. So we are prepping and priming you for amazing success before you've even started. I think this is pretty cool. We've never offered this before. Bonus, another bonus, you get a content launch plan, because as I've seen now with the students who go through it, they don't always know what the heck they should be putting out when. So we have put together, thanks to Lauren, an incredible spreadsheet showing you where you can post, what you can post at what time, so that you understand how to drip this out and you don't die of overwhelm of like, what the heck should I be talking about? We also have, again, thanks to Lauren, who's an incredible designer, she has put together 3 beautiful, individual, unique, customized branding and Canva templates, so that you can just plug and play your course, your logo, your Instagram posts, your Facebook posts, 3 completely beautifully designed vision boards, branding templates in Canva, which you can just sign into and literally, again, enter in your details and download, and you've got them. So you don't have to design them. It's like an in-house designer. And 30 social media prompts for people who are like, what the heck am I talking about? So we've got your content plan of when and where you should be posting and what types of questions and answers. And then we have all these social media prompts. So you copy and paste, put in your own details, and you're off and running. I think this is amazing. This was hotly requested. So we really listen to our students and what they need, and then we develop these amazing bonuses to just make the course that much easier for you to do. So you don't have to come up with all of this on top of what you'll already be doing. And this is new. Actually, all of this is new. Funnels. A lot of people then talk to me about Nat. I'm trying to get to grip with all this, but what the heck is a funnel? How does this work? You talk about a landing page and growing your list and then the sales page. How does it all work? So this time round, I am giving you a simple template to show you what the heck this looks like, for those of you who like visual diagrams, trying to understand where I'm coming from and where you're going to, and a short tutorial on how to create this for yourself, or you can just swipe my one and copy it and change out what you need. And this is going to give you so much clarity about what you're actually doing. Okay, I feel like I've just given you all the deets. That's like $3,500 worth of amazing bonuses that are going to help your learning, and a couple that are really time sensitive to today and the next 3 days. So remember, that deal of $997 is just for the next 3 days. We'll end on the 14th. Oh, it's going to end on Valentine's Day, I think. at midnight Pacific time. So be there or be square. After that, it goes up to $12.97. There are so many testimonials on my Accelerator page, so feel free to watch the videos, learn from people directly, read them all. I haven't changed any of the words. This is everything that they've told me. It's just incredible to actually get this feedback. So I know that this Accelerator, it's not a course, by the way, it's a live experience, works. So if you're like, okay, cool, Nat, I'm willing to get off my butt and do this, I really, really hope you come and join me, because this works for so many people. So I do just want to finish up by asking you a couple of questions yourself. Do you want to have the confidence to teach what you know and actually get paid for it? Do you want to have the impetus to create what you want to see in the world and really make a change for the people who you are hoping to help with your course? Do you want to turn your hard-earned knowledge into income? I'm pretty much sure that was answered right at the beginning of this masterclass. It was the main reason most people wanting to do this, as well as creating change. Do you want to earn more money from your side hustle or actually create an online business thanks to courses like I have? Because all of this is possible, by the way. It's not rocket science. Or do you want to make an impact in other people's lives? Maybe it's a combination of all of them. Or perhaps it's that you want to extend your reach and influence and share what you know and love to do, and just help other people to see that and have it in their lives. By the way, that's a little squirrel reaching. I'm reaching out to you. So that is what I've got for you. If you're interested, Lauren's dropped the URL. I would love, love, love for you to make a decision and come join us. It's your time. You'll know if it's your time. I'm not pressuring you into anything. I love the students that come through this accelerator. I'm not going to lie. It's an intense and exciting and fast-paced journey. But for those of you in lockdown, what have you got to lose? For those of you who have been sitting on this idea for years, what are you losing by not doing this now with me? Questions. Let's throw them at me. I'm going to check the chat. I haven't even been checking the chat. I've been on such a roll because we have so many. I'm so proud of those bonuses. We've thought really hard about what's going to make your learning even better. It's kind of self-paced, Lauren. It's every 2 weeks the next module gets released. So you will be going along with everybody else, and you won't get access to the next module until that 2 weeks is over. And I've done that on purpose, because if I released all 4 modules to you, people would jump ahead, they'd be overwhelmed, and they'd get stuck. So this is the way that we ensure people are doing the work as they go. Oh, great question, Joe. It's about 2 to 3 hours a week. More if you want, but the lessons are quite bite-sized and short. You can typically go through them and consume them, binge watch them in about 20 to 40 minutes. And then the rest is the doing and the workbooks and the actually, doing your research, asking people. So it's really well spread out over 2 weeks. You've got enough time to do it. She's like, yeah, I can manage that. Perfect. I mean, if you want to put in more, go for it. But yeah. Oh, great question from Bridget. What are the hidden costs involved? I love this question. Thank you. So pretty minimal, actually. You will likely want to buy an online course platform. My recommendation that I share right near the beginning is Podia. It's about $39 a month. And obviously, when you look at the math of what you're going to sell your course for, it's tiny, but you don't actually need to get that straight away. You might want to join ConvertKit, for example, or an email provider. And those, when you're starting out, often have a free plan, or you'll be looking at $10, $20 a month, and you want to be building your list regardless. So I don't ever see that as a cost. I see that as an investment. It's a privilege to have people on your email list. You might want to set aside a bit of a Facebook ads budget or advertising budget, but honestly, this is up to you. $10, $20 a day. And by the way, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you, we have added in an entire Facebook ads module this year. So Jackie Muscat is this demon with Facebook ads, and she actually and I had an interview about Facebook, all the ways in which to use it to grow your list and make more sales. And then there's 2 incredible tutorials of walking you through a $5 or a £5 a day budget on Facebook. And then you might just want to consider, sorry, I've been talking for so long. I just need to Drink some water. Hang on a minute. You might want to consider if you're going to need help, a copywriter, a designer, but I really think that what we've got for you in terms of the templates and the swipe copy and the design, you're going to be pretty set. So really it's kind of up to you. You know, I think a really good way to look at this is you're investing in yourself in this course, and then maybe a couple of hundred, maybe up to 500 to do this. And then the benefit of that is when you sell your course and you continue to sell it for the rest of your life. Just think about the return on investment on that. It's pretty amazing. Past members have gotten access already to the brand new Facebook module. Not all these incredible new bonuses, but they do get updates to any course content. So they'll be getting updates to all the course content that I've been doing. You don't need a website for this. You can 100% do this through Facebook or a simple landing page. It was Podia is the one that I love. So I'll just drop a link in here if you want to check it out. And you can even get 15% off it if you go to nataliesisson.com/Podia. But I do also share some other platforms that you can use because there's a lot. But I try to just get you in on just using one or two key platforms for this. And all of them are really easy to learn. And I also have walkthroughs of how to use them. So again, for the tech non-savvy people, there are literal walkthroughs to make this really easy for you. And why I've chosen these platforms in particular, and I recommend them over 60 days, you can choose whatever you like, but I've done the hard work for you, is because they are so user-friendly. They're drag and drop, they cut and paste, they're affordable, they're just easy. Oh, sorry, I had to have some more water. Oh, Bridget, you're in. Awesome. I will let the 3 people who got the bonuses know as soon as I'm off this amazing live call. Thank you for those of you who are joining me. I'm so excited. We're celebrating you. And I will immediately let you know if you got one of those fast action taking bonuses here. Linda, the changes to Facebook are a lot to do with iOS. And anybody who's starting using new Facebook rules will already have that kind of rolled out. So the training and tutorials for the Facebook ads are very current, and they're more about things that haven't been affected by those changes that are still obviously part of running Facebook ads. You're so welcome, Candy. Bridget's excited. John, thank you. Fantastic. Did I miss any questions, ladies? Do you want to fire them through to me? I just want to make sure that I haven't missed anything. Just checking. Cool. If you've got LearnDash, Active Campaign, if you're using something already, go with that. I am a huge fan of using what you already know and like and use. Bridget, I'll talk to you about that in the Accelerator, but for awesome. Depends what your course is, and I don't know if I missed it, but if you were helping the over 50 crowd, I have to say a lot of the course platforms these days are just much more intuitive for people to use. We have quite a few people in the Accelerator who are over 50, and they've found using Podia really easy in Facebook groups, but I can definitely talk to you about that. Acrylic painting. I was literally going to buy, I kid you not, a abstract painting course the other day online that I saw through Instagram. So I'd love to talk to you about that. Yay. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad this was unbelievably helpful and that you're excited to create your course. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us for so long. I know I went over. Thank you so much. It's been incredible to have you here. If you have any other questions, please share them through support@nataliesisson.com. Any questions at all? If there's something that wasn't clear around pricing or bonuses, if you can drop that in the chat, Lauren, that'd be great. So support@nataliesisson.com. That'd be incredible. And I will, oh, there is actually a Q&A. Why can't I see them? Thank you. I just want to make sure that I got the Q&A. Where is it? Oh my gosh. Thank you everybody for being here. It's been amazing to have you. I hope you learned a ton. The recording will be up as soon as we have it. So we'll be sharing that in an email in case you want to go over this, or for all those people who it's sleeping right now, want to wake up in the morning to this goodness. Thank you so much. Yay. Oh, it's a new moon day. Thank you. Fantastic. Yeah, Pelagia, if you don't have enough spots during the pre-selling, do you give us feedback to tweak our offer? 100%. That's what the coaching calls are for. That's what the Facebook group is there for. So people put in screenshots, they update us real time, they share as they're going through the pre-selling. We all give advice and share. People support each other's launches. It's pretty special. It's actually a really special community. You'll also be in there with alumni, so they've been through it before and they'll share advice. They're just in the Facebook group, but yeah, definitely. That's what we're here for. You're welcome, Martha. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Remember just to pop any other questions you have to support@nataliesisson.com. Lauren and I will get to that as soon as we can. Oh, thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. You're amazing. Thank you for your energy. Farewell. Bye. And that's a wrap.